In the world of BTS, even the smallest moments rarely go unnoticed. A brief appearance, a quiet post, a subtle change in tone. Things that might seem ordinary elsewhere often become points of reflection, discussion, and curiosity among ARMY. This isn't because fans are searching for something that isn't there, but because BTS has built a relationship with their audience that feels personal, layered, and deeply human. Recently, Taehyung and Jungkook have once again found themselves at the center of attention, not because of a big announcement or a dramatic reveal, but because of a series of small, thoughtful moments that fans simply can't stop talking about. Nothing has been confirmed. No official statements have been released. And yet, curiosity continues to grow. So, what is it about their recent activity that feels different? Why are fans paying closer attention than usual? And what does this say about the unique connection between BTS and ARMY? Let's take a calm, thoughtful look. One of the most fascinating things about BTS is how meaning often lives in the details. Over the years, fans have learned that not every important moment arrives with loud promotion or dramatic build-up. Sometimes, it's a song lyric posted at the right time. Sometimes, it's a photo shared without context. And sometimes, it's simply the feeling that something has shifted, even if no one can quite explain why. Taehyung and Jungkook are especially known for this. Both artists have their own ways of communicating with fans, and neither relies heavily on explanation. Instead, they allow moments to exist as they are. This openness leaves space for interpretation, reflection, and emotional connection, and it's exactly what has ARMY feeling curious right now. Recent activities, whether seen individually or together, seem quiet on the surface. But when viewed through the lens of BTS's history, they feel intentional in a way that fans have learned to recognize. Not obvious, not loud, just noticeable. Taehyung has always expressed himself in a way that feels artistic and introspective. Whether through music, photography, or brief messages, he often communicates through mood rather than explanation. Recently, fans have noticed a certain consistency in his tone. His appearances feel calm, grounded, and reflective. There's a softness that suggests thoughtfulness rather than urgency. Nothing feels rushed. Nothing feels forced. Instead, it feels like someone moving at their own pace, allowing moments to unfold naturally. This doesn't point to any specific conclusion, and that's important. It's not about guessing what's coming next. It's about noticing how Taehyung chooses to show up and how that presence resonates with fans. ARMY isn't reacting because they think something dramatic is happening. They're reacting because the energy feels familiar, yet slightly evolved, like a chapter quietly turning its page. Jungkook, on the other hand, has always balanced openness with mystery. He shares moments freely, yet often without context. This approach invites fans to simply experience the moment rather than analyze it. Lately, Jungkook's activity has felt consistent and steady. Not overwhelming, not distant, just present. That presence alone has been enough to spark conversation. Fans aren't asking, "What does this mean?" as much as they're saying, "Did you notice this too?" There's a shared awareness, a collective pause where people are observing rather than assuming. And that's what makes this moment feel different. It's not driven by speculation or rumors. It's driven by attention. One reason ARMY is paying closer attention right now is because the dynamic feels both familiar and subtly refreshed. Taehyung and Jungkook have always had a natural ease around each other, something that doesn't need to be emphasized to be felt. Their interactions, whether direct or indirect, have never relied on performance. They feel genuine, comfortable, and unforced. Recently, that same ease is still there, but fans are sensing a quiet confidence layered on top of it. Not louder, not more obvious, just steadier. It's the kind of shift you only notice when you've been paying attention for a long time. It's important to be clear. Curiosity does not equal assumption. Most fans aren't claiming to know what's happening. They aren't expecting an announcement or predicting a specific outcome. Instead, they're sharing observations, emotions, and reflections. This kind of conversation is different from speculation. It's rooted in appreciation rather than expectation. ARMY is simply acknowledging that something about these recent moments feels meaningful, even if that meaning is personal rather than public. And that's okay. In an industry that often demands constant output, silence can feel powerful. Taehyung and Jungkook have both shown that they're comfortable allowing space between moments. They don't rush to fill every gap with explanation. They let fans sit with what's shared. This approach creates room for interpretation, but it also creates trust. Fans trust that when something needs to be said, it will be said. Until then, they're content to observe, appreciate, and reflect. That trust is rare, and it's one of the reasons these quiet moments resonate so strongly. What stands out most in recent discussions is how gentle the tone has been. Instead of demanding answers, fans are saying things like, "This caught my attention. Something about this feels calm. I don't know why, but this moment stayed with me." There's no pressure being placed on Taehyung or Jungkook to explain themselves. There's simply shared awareness. That kind of fan culture doesn't happen overnight. It's built through years of mutual respect. Artists grow in many ways. Sometimes that growth is visible through major projects. Other times, it shows up in posture, expression, or presence. Right now, many fans feel that Taehyung and Jungkook are in a phase of quiet confidence. They don't need to signal where they're going. They don't need to define what this moment means. They're simply existing within it. And that authenticity is exactly what draws people in. Perhaps the most refreshing part of this moment is that it doesn't demand an answer. There's no countdown, no expectation, no pressure, just curiosity. And curiosity, when rooted in respect, can be a beautiful thing. It allows fans to stay present rather than constantly looking ahead. It encourages appreciation over anticipation. Sometimes, the moment itself is enough. As the conversations continue, one thing becomes clear. This isn't about uncovering a secret or predicting the future. It's about noticing.
It's about feeling.
It's about sharing a quiet pause together. Taehyung and Jungkook aren't asking to be analyzed. They're simply showing up as they are, and ARMY is responding by paying attention, thoughtfully and kindly. So, why does Taehyung and Jungkook's recent activity have everyone curious? Because it feels genuine. Because it feels calm. Because it feels intentional without being performative. And most of all, because BTS has taught us that not every meaningful moment needs to be explained. Sometimes, noticing is enough. As always, ARMY will continue to watch, not with expectation, but with appreciation. And whatever comes next, whether big or small, will arrive in its own time. Until then, this quiet curiosity remains a moment worth acknowledging. As always, not every moment needs an explanation. Sometimes, simply noticing is enough. Taehyung and Jungkook continue to move at their own pace, and ARMY continues to watch with curiosity, respect, and appreciation. Whatever these moments may lead to, big or small, we'll discover it in time. Until then, thank you for being part of this shared pause, where observation matters more than assumptions. If you enjoyed this discussion, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video.